Body in the back, laying on the cold ground. I ain't going back. I might end up in the coffin. You can scare me. They be bluffing. I got reasons to fuck up every night and get a chance every morning.
Alright, I'm not gonna lie, I was so excited when I saw this pop up on my recommended feed this morning because I was like, oh my god, I have no idea who this guy is. I just found him last Friday. The biggest, most banger song in the world I found by this guy on Friday. Then people have been suggesting me more songs. There's an album coming soon, and I've just fallen in love with this guy. And now we have an interview, and now we can get to, learn more about him. So I'm ready. Let's go.
Hello, beautiful human. I'm Zach, that's Stan.
And I'm Steven.
Welcome to the studio, Steven Sanchez.
Hi.
Hey.
Oh, you meant, oh.
He grunted immediately upon entering to make it clear that he is dominant.
No, I just sat down on the couch weird, and I was trying to get comfy, and I just was like, that happens.
Yeah, you have a great grunt.
Thanks.
You do.
Thanks.
I feel like you, though, declare dominance in different ways. Here, seriously, hear me out. Like manliness, like very manly energy.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, one,
Thank you.
You're giving 1950s energy.
Thank you. I don't know if that's
That's awesome. What are you talking about?
cool. Awesome. I'm into that. I mean, that's the way. That's the vibe, I think. Yeah.
It's giving
good.
era of a real gentleman. That's what I'm trying to make.
Thank you.
Which I do believe
appreciate
you
that.
are.
That's really nice. Thank you.
And I don't come to this conclusion on my own. I come to this conclusion, one, via listening to your music very deeply, but then also hearing stories of you just being a really nice person to random people in the high school cafeteria.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way he was so nice to people in the high school cafeteria. There's no way this is happening again, that I have found someone who is basically exactly like me. I literally got an award in school for, helping out without even having to be asked in, middle school. Not high school, but middle school. But what?
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. Whoa, that's wild that you know that. That's so good.
You were really nice to some girl who was going through a breakup.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whoa, yeah.
Okay, never mind. I was, helping out, pick up garbage and, yeah.
And she told the story on TikTok. And
She did.
And you just sat down with her and you gave her advice and just made it clear that the person who broke her heart didn't deserve her.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, geez, it's like, obviously it's been a long time since I've been in high school. And so that story, I'd forgotten about it completely. Until that TikTok
Are we
video
sure this
and
guy's
the-
20?
And the girl who told that story, it's so
He
crazy.
just doesn't give me 20-year-old vibes.
Because I didn't know anything about relationships at that time. So it's like, cool, that's awesome.
But you were known as the guy who had the guitar.
Yeah.
Always.
All the time. It was like a ukulele at first, for whatever reason, because I just didn't know how to play guitar, and then it was guitar slowly on, which is great. So it was ukulele, and then I got upgraded.
I need to officially get my ass to
When did you start writing
getting on how to
music, or
play
at least,
guitar.
how did it start, writing anything?
Yeah. Whoa. It's so crazy. I mean, I used to listen to independent radio, when I was growing up, and so it was just, Foster the People and the band Fun, and Pink and CeeLo Green were the first bit of music that I was listening to, and Cage the Elephant, and so I used to record their songs, using my phone on the radio and stuff. So what one would do in the 80s, with cassette tapes and all that, just more technologically advanced now that we're in the modern day. But I loved their music and their songs, and just a lot of that music was kind of soundtracking those early moments of my life, and it got to a point where I was discovering artists and listening to vinyl for the first time and CDs and cassettes and hearing all of these different perspectives on life that have happened to these people. And I think it was just kind of this realization that everybody's story isn't going to exactly align with yours, and so it was just this, I wasn't feeling satisfied in some of the song writing that I was hearing, because I was just man, this is almost me, hearing them tell their story, it's almost me. And then it just kind of sparked this I want to tell my own stories and my own life from my own perspective, and not have to rely on somebody else's perspective to say who I am and like how I feel, you know? And so songwriting out of that.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, because it's so weird. It goes back. We had a guest randomly on the show, Brittany Broski, shout out. And she literally said the other day, if the art of the world that you need doesn't exist, you just got to make it.
Yeah.
Of course, she was
Exactly.
talking about a fanfic involving Harry Styles as a vampire and Robert Downey Jr. Totally different pieces of art. Totally different
Bro,
pieces of
I
art.
watched just a piece of that interview, and she is funny.
Wow.
But it makes sense.
Yeah, and someone needed that.
And you needed to tell your own story because the
Yeah.
art wasn't doing it for you fully, so you chose to do it yourself. But do you always play, some sort of instrument, or does that come along with it?
Yeah, I mean, I sucked for a really long time. Like, it was not great. I mean, even singing and songwriting, the whole thing was terrible. And so there was no, clear, this is going to work out in a great way, And so I was playing ukulele and like looking it up on Google how to play ukulele, and then guitar came from that. And I grew up in the church, and so being a part of like a team of adept musicians that work in the church and like play gospel music every Sunday, was huge for me. And it also helped inspire more of the songwriting elements because I'm watching people, if we really water it down, it's like we're watching people in a room together to celebrate something, and feelings are coming out of that celebration, and we're watching people impacted by music and moving and dancing to that music. And so it was huge for me growing up because it was just like, man, like music can do that to people. And there's an obvious I can listen to something on the radio and like dance to it and stuff, but to see someone emotionally like invested and that their life is changing because of that is crazy to me. And so it's just, all of it, it's all this, it's so many different things that have just made up this journey. So guitar playing from that, which is great. So guitar playing.
You're really only 20 though, which is crazy young.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's pretty wild. Yeah.
But also, is it interesting to
For the
think that a
person,
lot of
it's
people
not
out
really
there
wild, It's like, oh yeah, I'm 20. Whatever,
only believe that Until I Found You was your first song ever?
But it definitely
Because
is
the reality is, like, it's not. Like, you had you had been making music and adding like decent babs, decent moments on TikTok previous.
Yeah.
Until I Found You is a timeless song.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's gonna last forever.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful, but it has to be scary a little bit, no?
Yeah, I think that, I could care less about, it's something that I say all the time where it's like, fame is a beautiful thing, and
is this something about like a controversial sort of thing he went through or something like that?
I say all the time where it's like, fame is a beautiful thing, and fortune from that is a beautiful thing. But it's all a gift. It's nothing that's like that I feel personally that's like deserved. Like I'm like, yes, like I deserve this position in people's lives, that like someone's gonna put this song on every day and they're gonna create a memory with someone that they love, or that they're gonna remember somebody, or someone's gonna come to mind every time they hear that song. Like that feels like a gift, and only a gift. And the fact that that song is gonna outlive me, hopefully, is so special for me, because I don't feel that important. And if the music is more important to people than like whatever I've done and like anything like that, then that's great. Then I'm stoked on that over like, my name being remembered and all that stuff, because it's just, it's more beautiful that way. People aren't creating memories, because of Steven Sanchez, they're using the music to do that. And so that's the only thing that should really matter, the most, I think. Even with future songs, and even those past songs that we released before Until I Found You, like it was the same intention and the same heart. And even though those didn't go all the way, it's still the hope, for everything. So
That's the coolest way and the most humble way and grounded way to look at it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Do you start with that mindset, or do you come to that mindset? Because when you're watching we've had so many people on our couch literally sit exactly where you are.
Yeah.
that come in and have, and yeah, we're talking to you after the song's been out for quite some time, but it hasn't slowed down at all. It's still woven into everything. It's still on the radio like crazy. It's still on every playlist and every grocery store, everywhere. We've had so many people come on in moments where like they have a life-changing record.
Yeah.
And the next move after that is like could be some of the scariest shit ever.
Yeah.
But you really genuinely only care about the stories you're telling.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like it's not about me at all.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not. I mean, even when we go and play shows, I mean, the boys and I and the band, we all agree that, you know, it's like we get to be out playing a show and people show up for us, and that in itself is a gift that anyone would show up for us, you know. And I think in the same sense with the songs, you know, people are experiencing that live, and it is far less about us when we're up on stage. Like, we are there, our purpose is to soundtrack the moments in the crowd. Like, everybody's story in the crowd is that it could be that they just got out of a breakup, or, you know, someone in their family has passed away, or you know, they're going there with someone that they love or someone that they want to love. And like, there's so many different, it's like, it's so much more than us, you know, and it's about soundtracking those moments to help alleviate this sense of loss, or this sense of, you know, wanting to be in love, or to help encourage, you know, somebody to share with another person that they care about them for more than a friendship, you know. And so I feel like we've all always looked at it that way, because, you know, we're all just normal dudes. I mean, we just go home after and we're just excited to see the girls that we love, you know, at home.
So you start making music because you're not feeling understood by the music that exists.
Yeah.
But you just talked about your music definitely being understood by the masses.
Yeah. How crazy.
So there is something there, right? Like, is it your story? Okay. Is it your music anymore? Is there do you see like you're doing this for you or for other people?
I mean, there's definitely like the realistic side of it. That's like, of course, there's like an element of both. Like, I mean, there just has to be. There's this like, you know, because if I didn't love to do it, you know, I wouldn't be doing it, you know, at all. And I feel like there's, you know, the other side that's like, yeah, I mean, it's like about everyone else, you know, because at the end of the day, like, I'm going to hold on to it for as long as I'm able to. I mean, we just released a song today, you know, Be More just came out, you know, a few hours ago. Like,
your range on it is crazy.
Thank you so much. It was a crazy song to have sang. And it's just like, you know, with songs like that, like, I held on to it for so long, and I'm just like, you know, this record is conceptual that we're releasing, and like, it's stories that I've written, and I wrote this story to satisfy this like excitement over music, because I just love music. I'm such a fan of music. But then it's like, but now it's everyone else's. I mean, people are going to create whatever they want with these songs, if they so choose to, you know? And so it's kind of like Rick Rubin, he was on a podcast and he was saying how like music is essentially an act of like surrender. Like, it has nothing to do with like, you know, if you like it, that's all that matters, you know? And it's like a service to God to like release music and to give it upwards to people, you know? And
that saying is true, you know. It's like, whatever you do, as long as you like it, that's like the best thing about it. You know, who cares if everyone hates it? You know, I like doing what I like to do, but I don't know, there's still just that, you know, whether people say anything or not, it's just a little bit behind that will like crush you, or at least, just for example, me.
So I agree with that. It feels like that.
Whether I believe, like how people will tell me, yo, you like, it's a 1 in a million chance that you're going to be a big singer. You should, you know, go get a job. I mean, am I going to quit music for real, and actually do that? Fuck no.
So, yeah.
It is accurate. because when you see firsthand, and every time I go to shows, and I go all the time, and I go and I get to see my friends play constantly.
What's your favorite?
I mean, I just went to go see AJR yesterday, and I saw M.
Fantastic.
At
How's
the
she
OC
doing?
Fair. She's doing great.
Fantastic.
My favorite part about that process
Yeah.
is watching everybody else. Like, it's a show I've seen. I mean, I've seen AJR play dozens of times.
Yeah.
I've seen Ari play, I don't know, 150 times. Like, not a joke.
Yeah.
At a certain point, I switched my focus to really feeling the energy of everybody else and the joy that is captured in this room and
Yeah.
exists in the movements and in the eyes and in the hearts of literally thousands of people. And like, even now, like this morning I talked about it with Kelsey, who's on our team, and yeah, it brings me to tears because the music is, the second it's out there in the world and it's something that stems from something so personal, literally just an experience or emotion or an idea. We're going to talk about this concept album, which is fascinating, where you see yourself as a character.
Yeah.
But like, it starts literally from something so personal and ends up becoming something so much bigger, but also so deeply personal and tiny to somebody.
Yeah.
But if that makes any sense,
It totally does.
and then it comes through in these fucking concerts, and you see it and how it brings people together, and it's like you can't help but bawl your eyes out.
It is the craziest thing. I mean, I remember
Sick.
like when I was growing up, there's this band called Need to Breathe, and I was like, I mean, I just died over them. I just love their music, their songwriting, and I remember going to see them at the Bob Hope Theater in Stockton, California, because I used to live up north in Sacramento, and my mom drove me to go and see this concert, and dude, it was like, I mean, I'd listened to their music for years, and I just like weeped the whole show, just seeing like everybody together singing the songs and like everybody sharing like a similar experience. And it's just like the love for their music and their songs. And it's so cool to get that. I mean, even just a ways back, seeing one of my favorite bands is Lord Huron, and I got to see them at a rooftop show at Pier 17
Sick.
in New York. Awesome venue. And I mean, 5 years wanting to see them and then finally getting to, and just like dancing around to their music with everybody else who loves their music. And I'm just like, this is so cool. Like, we're all fans of the same thing, and it's so cool. I just love it. It's so cool.
It's something like I don't necessarily feel like when I go to a festival. I think it's something when it's so spread out, it's harder to like really capture that energy. You can feel it as you walk through it.
Yeah.
But when you can like turn around and look at an entire venue and it's all in your one field of vision, and you can see fucking Madison Square Garden or 6,000, 7,000 people at a fair. Like, it's wild. It's wild. And
Yeah, you can turn around and make a friend. You just be like,
Yes.
oh, you love them too? It's like, yeah, we're here. Like, what?
it's a beautiful thing. Community and music.
Speaking of festivals, quickly, what was it like performing for 200,000 people with Elton John?
Nuts.
That's a sea of people.
Man, it was the shittiest experience. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I remember that morning I woke up and I have someone very special in my life, and I called them, and I was just like freaking out about it, because obviously there was so much build up to it, and him and I have had interactions, Elton and I, over a long period of time, and so it was just this like, okay, now we're doing this thing, and it's like it's happening, and there was months behind it, and then it turned into weeks behind it, and then there was days, and it was just like this is actually going to be a thing. And so that morning, I'm waking up, and it's like, okay, we're actually going to go. I'm actually going to be there, and it's very scary, and I just cried all my fear out. I was so scared, and I was just, because it's just like I do feel like such a fan to all this, like all the time. Like, I don't feel like
You're this big star.
famous or like I'm the shit or anything like that. I just feel like such a
Yeah.
okay, let's go to work and do the thing, and like I'll be Steven Sanchez for today, and then I'm gonna go home and like, order pizza, kind of thing, and like be like very normal, and like everybody who
That's
comes
lit.
up and like loves the music, it feels very normal. And so I was just having this kind of like midlife
That's
without
awesome.
being in the middle of my life, kind of like, holy shit, like this is like a really big deal, and I don't feel like I fit the
Imposter syndrome?
yeah, totally. I mean, immediately that. And so,
That's awesome.
and then the rest of the day, just walking around and, and I feel super normal in like environments like that too, because I just feel like, I assume everybody feels that way because I feel very normal. That I like, Slash is walking around and like Dave Grohl, and I'm just like, they have to feel just like normal, walking around. So I'm just gonna be like normal too, And so like they're walking around, and Kate Hudson's there. I'm like, that's cool. Watch, Almost Famous on the Plane, like over here, and it was just so.
That's totally, if I get to where I would love to be, that will totally be me. And if it isn't, someone please, gosh, call me out on it, because that happened when I started to be, a gamer, and start put music, gaming videos out and stuff like that. And I was, trying to be the biggest, the best, and I thought I was the biggest and the best, even though I was, this idiot, weird little kid. So, yeah. Someone please call me out on that if I ever am like that.
So cool, and there was so much build up to it, and so much glamour to it, and it's just like, I'm going to use the bathroom, and like my green room is next to Elton John's, and like across from Brandon Flowers and Rina Sawayama's dressing room, and I'm using the bathroom, and Brandon Flowers is like practicing and like warming up, and I'm just having a pee, and just like he's singing, and that's so weird, and there was just all these crazy beautiful moments that were leading up to that, and then when it finally came down to playing on the stage, we're getting there, and everyone's wrapped around the TV in the green room, and there's Dave Grohl's watching, and everybody's watching, and I go up, onto the side stage, and I'm back there, and I'm like getting pumped up, getting ready to go, and I just felt like fearless, man. Like I just felt like I could split the sky in half with how fearless I felt. Like I was just, we walked out there, and the only way to actually get onto the stage from like where you are is to get out onto the stage and then go to the side. And so I was on the side, so I got to see the crowd and sit there and look at them for a second. And it was like, I mean, I'm getting like the nervous energy again, like thinking about it. Like it was so massive and wild. It was I've never seen that many people in one place, and you could look back as far as it would go, and there would still be more people. And then he called my name, and I just like, that was it. I just felt infinite in that moment, just infinite. Wow. Like I could do anything, and getting to honor him too. I mean, he emphasized, he was like, take advantage of the stage, like don't waste it. Like this is the craziest thing ever at this point in your life. Like just take advantage of it. And so getting to honor him and like say a kindness that, to him, and recognize that. And it was surreal, man. It was surreal. And the guys in the band are wonderful, and they've had an amazing career. And, Elton's wonderful, and it's just so cool. So cool.
What do you think someone like Sir Elton John hears in your music that makes him want to invite you to be a part of this?
A younger him, maybe?
I mean, I can only speak from like what he's told me. I mean, I think it's just that, Elton obviously grew up with, the rock and roll, like the early, like, he grew up on Elvis and, the Miracles and Smokey Robinson and, the Temptations, and like I can attest to that just in the fact that we were at, the Music Cares event together, sitting next to each other, and the Temptations came out to sing My Girl, and he was literally turning to me, like singing the song to me, and I was just like, I guess you say, and he's like singing it back. I'm like, this is so weird. Like we just met tonight, and now we're singing together, and so he's such a fan of music, man, and I think that's why he's so ingrained in like new artists, because he wants to champion that music. And I think for me, it's just like, I think he recognizes that, there's a deep love for music as well, and just such a fan to it, and a fan of music that he grew up with, and that I'm influenced by, obviously, with Until I Found You. It's all Steven Sanchez, but Elvis and Roy Orbison like played a role in the fact that song exists, because I wouldn't know how to create anything like that without them. And
I told you.
And so I think there's a recognition of that just in him hearing that, and like Evangeline and Only Girl. There's
I feel like it's so blatantly obvious that you could tell there's some sort of Elvis influence, and especially, like I said, I found it so easily just because I recently had just watched the movie, and I went through this big addiction phase of him when the movie came out to HBO, and I watched it for the first time, and I was like, whoa, Elvis is the best artist in the world. And I feel like that is kind of what's been, in a way, I want to say saving me from depression or something like that. It's been keeping my mind off of terrible things and influencing me to do better things. I went through, like I said, I mean, I think I've said this before, but like there was Nessa Barrett, there was Olivia Rodrigo, Justin Bieber, Kid Laroi, Elvis Presley, you know, and I'm not going to say it's right now Steven Sanchez just because I'm not really addicted to him. It's just, it happens to be that I'm listening to tons of his stuff right now.
Of that just in
It's
him
not
hearing
like before
that and like
with
Evangeline,
everything else. I'm
you know,
going
Only Girl, there's,
straight
you know,
looking
Motown,
into
and
everything
Evangeline,
about this
Only Girl's
person.
got that, you know, jump to it, and so yeah, I don't know, I can hardly believe it, to be honest. So long-winded, but there you go. Yeah.
When you started actually making records in a serious
It'll
manner,
hit one
did you
day.
go because on the EP, and we're going to talk about the album.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of like really heavy nostalgic sounding records, like very, you know,
Yeah.
you just passed. Amazing. Very present at the same time, like the right balance.
Thanks,
But
man.
then there's more like Cage the Elephant and like Foster the People, more like alt folky records on there
Yeah.
too.
Totally.
Do you start making music at the gate with a vintage air to it or vintage feel to it? And the answer is, the other question is why?
I'd probably say no, because like, I mean, Until I Found You was kind of like an accident in a way. Like it just felt intrinsic, and it just kind of came out one day. And obviously with this new record, it's like kind of pressing that vein like very heavily, because you know it was just, I felt like for a long time actually that I wasn't making exactly, like, it felt like I was making the music that I was supposed to make at the time, you know, obviously, because, you know, there's,
That's all it always is.
I mean, I was 17 when I got signed, and then started making my first record when I was 18, never been in a studio, and then, you know, being signed to a major label, there's so much, like, expectation that's kind of perceived, you know, just right out of the gate, just from somebody who's never been in the business before, and so for me, it was just kind of like, I felt like I was making what I thought people would want to hear initially, while also being like, but I'm going to say what I want to say. You know, and now it's been like, you know, obviously because the first records were very singer-songwriter and folky, and now it's completely in that 50s and 60s style. Like now it just feels like I'm just making music that I love, because those influences were just all that I listened to growing up. You know, like as much as I listened to Foster the People and Cage the Elephant, you know, and singer-songwriters, like they weren't like the main, you know, thing, like my main squeeze. Like it was always Roy Orbison and Elvis and the Platters and Frank Sinatra and these.
Mine would right now, I feel like, be what he said that is Cage the Elephant. Mine would probably be like all rap music, and then I'd go back to like, you know, it was all like, you know, Justin Bieber, I don't know, like just tons of pop artists that just anyone would probably listen to. The big pop artists that were popular at the time, anywhere from like 2001 to, I don't know, probably 2010 maybe.
Big band, you know, voices that, you know, are entirely timeless, like within our generation. I mean, so I think when it came to actually, you know, making a record that felt retro, it wasn't like initially a first like muscle memory, like I'm gonna do this, like thinking about it. Like it was just kind of like, this just exists because like it exists in me and it feels intrinsic and it feels like me, you know.
Intrinsic? What the heck does that word mean?
And so when Until I Found You
heard that
came
word
out, I
in
was
my
just
life.
like, okay, like we could do that, you know. And then Evangeline came out, and I was like, okay, we could really do that. And then it was like, oh, let's make a record.
How? What did
And
he
then,
say?
and so when Until I Found You came out, I was just
Intrinsic?
like, okay, like we could do that, you know. And then Evangeline came out, and I was like, okay, we could really do that. And then it was like,
I don't
oh, let's
know.
make a record, you know.
But that's the shift of doing music that you think people want to hear and doing music that you want to hear, right?
Yeah.
And
That's
like,
it.
and at the end of the day, like your stories have
Belonging, naturally
remained honest
essential.
throughout all of it. But where does Until I Found You genuinely come from?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's crazy because like obviously the story of that song is real. You know, we've made it so it fits within this, you know, story of this conceptual record, and so like the actual person that the song is written about is now a character in this story. But in reality, in life, you know, this song was written about a girlfriend that I was, you know, dating, you know, and someone that, you know, was important to me in my life when I was, you know, in some of like some very like, life building moments, and lots of change happening, and she was there for a lot of that. And
Is it just me realizing it for myself, but do we as humans say a lot? Because I feel like I've been realizing it from a lot of people too, and I'm not saying that's bad, but I feel like I've been like shitting on myself thinking that it's bad, and I'm like trying to reword words differently in my head or something like that, and it's not happening.
oh,
So I feel like it's
I wrote
maybe
a song
making it
about her
worse.
relationship, and
I never used to be this bad talking, trust me.
yeah, it was, and it's funny too, because it wasn't like a love song. It was kind of like a I messed up kind of song in a way, because I was going through a hard time with my folks at home, and I was feeling a bit embarrassed in a way, like not embarrassed, just like not feeling like comfortable enough to bring her into that where it was at the time. And so I pushed her away, and then I felt unworthy just in my own sense to be with that person. And so the song is literally about requiting that and like apologizing for that, and like being like I couldn't be without you kind of thing. And yeah, and obviously like the song for me now is a lot different than what it was when I was 18. That's what that song was to me. It was about a girlfriend, and now it's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. It's about everybody's love story, and realizing that you kind of find more of yourself in finding somebody else, to be a part of that. So yeah.
Why were you afraid to tell the person you cared this much about the problems you were facing with your family?
Man, it was just, I mean, how do you do that? Like, how do you meet somebody and just like
Open up
look at them
about all
and
these horrible things.
see all the mess of yourself, and have that be the first thing right out of the gate, because you kind of expect, sometimes in a relationship to have that buffer room to kind of be like, oh, like, let me give you the best of myself. And all I had at the time was the worst of myself, trying to be the best of myself. And that's hard. And so it was just kind of like this intimidating thing that I wasn't really ready for. And, and yeah, and I wish that person just the absolute best now at this point, because it's just like, it's...
So it never even like...
No, we never got... I mean, we broke up after the song was released. So it's like... we broke up before the song released, and then it was out, and then it was like I had to advertise that song, forever, and then it became humongous forever. And it was like this really weird, like, okay, you get over this relationship in a crazy way, and but it also, I made a lot of mistakes, after that, and I think I'm really grateful for that time, because yeah, because I mean, so much life happened after that, and having a huge song happen, and then your career goes, and someone you care about goes, and like lots of like new things entering and lots of things exiting your life. And so I'm very grateful for that time, in the sense I feel like it's helped me to
Change into a better person.
Recognize that it's okay for things that are meant to stay. It's okay to let go of things. It's okay to allow new things to come into your life, and now like that song is so much more than that. And I don't know that I see it that way, and I definitely don't want to advertise it that way, that it is about an ex-girlfriend as much as it is. It's, I mean, looking at it now, it's so much bigger than that now, and I'm really grateful for that, in a way. So yeah, and she's great, and she's living her life, and I'm so stoked for her and all that she's doing. So yeah.
How rich has that song made you?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know,
What
man.
a life when you don't need to look.
I gotta recoup stuff, so I mean, enough. I mean, it's enough. It's opened doors to make...
changed your life.
Yeah, I mean, I bought my first house.
Oh,
so that was cool. I'm like
20
renting
years
it out
old,
now.
by the way.
so you moved to another place.
I'm moving to New York, so
Wow, a man with multiple listings.
It's just well, I'm renting that, so it'll be good. It'll be all right.
The song took you to Sophia Richie's wedding.
It did.
How crazy
She's
is
lovely.
that?
She's so great.
That
It
pays
was-
well too.
It was a star-studded time. It was cool. It was cool. I mean, it's weird to think about because it's like it's so like I can recognize them as like for the impact in like culture that they have had with their fame and like with Lionel Richie and like Cameron Diaz was there. I'm like, yes, I've seen your movies, but like you're so normal and like we're just here at a wedding and we're celebrating love and that's so cool. Like that's so cool. And gosh, I mean, it was such a cool favor to have gotten to be a part of that wedding. I mean, I would have done
hold
it.
on, favor? What are you talking about?
It was like, well, okay, so like
How much did they pay? 50 grand?
well,
Plus
no,
back
no, no,
line?
no, 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 no. It wasn't a paid thing or anything like that. It was a and I would have done it for free. I would not have gotten paid for that. Would not accept payment for that. Like any moment to celebrate some loving, that's good. That's good. That's good jam.
I'll keep that in mind.
That's good jam. And obviously the context is a beautiful thing, and so
You're not Lionel Richie.
you're not Lionel Richie. So so her husband, he had asked, cause his dad, he works in the business, is a huge
Heard of him?
name in business, Lucian Grange, and so his son knew that Sophia loved Until I Found You and like was playing a lot, and so he asked his dad if that was possible, and so
By the way,
he hit
that's
me.
like that's your boss's boss.
Yeah. So the main man who is the
main man.
loveliest man ever, a great father, great man.
And an icon, and one of the smartest businessmen in music to ever exist, hands down.
You said it. I mean,
Sir Lucian Grange. You bow to the guy.
yeah. I mean, he reached out to us and he asked a favor. He was like, would you come and be part of the wedding? Would you come and sing the song? And I was like,
Wow.
done. Of course. Are you kidding me? Yeah. And so he flew us out to Nice, and we were there for 2 days. We were there for 2 days and sang the song. And I remember Elliot went down to go meet Sophia down the aisle, and he was like, "Do you see who's over my shoulder singing the song?" She was like, "Oh, I don't know." And she looked over her shoulder, and it was me singing the song. And obviously, we replaced Georgia with Sophia, and which was asked for, which was a great idea. And she just lost it, and so she was there for a while, and so we kept having to sing like the chorus over and over again because she was crying, and so she was having to like get ready, and she was having like a wardrobe malfunction because like she was crying over that moment. And we got to dance together at the after party, and it was just so great, and I was so
Holy
honored to have been part of her special day. And she's just the sweetest, loveliest woman, and Elliot's so great, and we smoked cigars, and it was great.
Sick.
It was great. It was a beautiful, beautiful wedding. So I was grateful for that.
What a life.
So fun.
Are you looking for the next, like when you're releasing this album, Angel Face? Are you looking for the next song that's gonna have that impact?
I mean, sure, but
Be
I
more,
don't think
dude.
It's up to me, really. In a way. I mean,
Be more.
it's like I can only do so much, and obviously TikTok is such a huge like free marketing app in a way, that's full of songwriters and singers and dancers and photographers and videographers, and there's so much content to consume at one time that it's like it's almost intimidating to feel like at this point now, like with where it's at, that songs can kind of get through. But I think it becomes about people loving a song and wanting that. So it's almost, in a way, it's almost back to the time where radio was so important, and it is still, but I mean, God, like such, like that was the way that songs like went all the way. And it almost feels like TikTok's like radio in a way, because I mean, it's such a mass consumption that is happening all at once that it's like, it's kind of up to everybody, as
I just know I'm becoming an old head because like all the new ways of things, all the like new terms, the slangs, all the like new all the new stuff. I don't know. I can't become a fan of it. I don't like it. I don't know. And I know that's how I'm becoming old, and I'm only 21.
As it's heard to make that song what it is. But then also there's people who are part of the team at the label and at radio who help to make those songs shine through in those moments. And so, gosh, I mean, we're always trying, but I mean, it's up to everybody else, you know, and you know, we always work hard, and I mean, there's so many people who've spent late nights and early mornings for me, and I'm so grateful to them. Yeah, who knows? Be More could be it. It could be another song. It could have been a song that's already out.
It should be.
Like,
it should be the next big thing. If not, it should have been the big thing. You know, I'm not gonna say Until I Found You shouldn't be the big thing, but Be More should.
It could just pop off.
Yeah.
Let's just
I mean,
go
yeah,
with
I mean,
that.
think of like the Walters, you know, they had that huge song, I Love You So, but I was listening to that song in the 8th grade, you know, and like, I loved that song, and it wasn't huge at the time, and now it's like huge. I mean, it's almost got 1 billion streams on it, you know, like, yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy how songs can kind of just do that, you know, at any point now. It's so cool.
It's kind of like
It
my
is
videos,
wild.
dude. Like,
Come
I
on.
had a video out for, I don't know, a week or more, and just randomly it was like, zip. I don't know.
Prioritization of a medium is pretty crazy, but
Yeah.
also in the same.
I feel like
breath,
even just like the Be More video, it was out for 3 days. It got 200 views each day, and then it just whoop right up, and it got like 1,000, maybe 2,000 views like that day.
like
The next day on the
to your
4th
point,
day,
it's
I was
harder
like,
for something to break through.
Yeah.
"You guys are
Right, and-
nuts."
At the end of the day, nobody controls the algorithm except for the company that owns the code that really controls the
I
algorithm.
guess so, man.
And it's out of so many people's hands. And if we ever think that like that is truly something that is like natural, that doesn't have human interference, that's not. It's
I mean, Kate Bush, come on.
Right.
Like, that song came out in the 80s. Like, Running Up That Hill wasn't
Well, that was
in
the-
the 80s.
but
Like,
that was a sync that just like shaped culture, and then it went on to go do its own thing. See,
Yeah.
that's 100%.
I mean, but think about how many syncs there are, and then like how many fall by the wayside. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like, and then people took that song.
But that's the
And it's
merit
like,
of the record, right?
Oh my God, it's just crazy.
You can, is it like a focus camp? Like, I don't know. Like Lizzo, Truth Hurts was the same thing, right? That was another Netflix sync that popped off years later. By the way, Hey There Delilah pops off years later. If we go all the way back in time, courtesy of
Yeah.
the Plain White Tees, there's so many records that pop off way later in life.
I love that.
Label mate AJR, World's Smallest Violin, fucking middle of the album record that is now their most streamed song as of the last like 4 months. It's crazy. All
Well done,
because of
boys.
TikTok.
Well done.
Didn't Miley just release like her new album, but then a song from the Plastic Hearts album took off
Yeah.
right around the same time?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, it
Like,
was
Angel
Angels.
like you or something, like Angel like you or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like you put out a
That's
new
so
album, you're like,
crazy.
now we're gonna go back to this album.
Yeah.
That's what
Like,
happens.
it is like, okay, the algorithm, yes, is somebody
Especially
owns
even
it,
like if
but
the album isn't out yet, you know, like for Travis Scott, everybody probably went to Astroworld thinking, you know, and that's why I feel like everybody hated his new album so much, you know, right off the start, and then they finally gave it a chance and they were like, oh wait, it's actually really good, it's not that bad. Everybody went back to his old album and was like, oh, these are all hype songs, I can't wait to hear a new Travis Scott, it's gonna be like this, oh my god, can't wait. Because I was one of those people, I thought, you know, I was picturing, you know, it was gonna be like that. I listened to it a couple more times when it first came out, and I was like, whoa, this is actually so good in so many different ways. All of them were different, all the songs were different, and they were very good in their own way.
ultimately the people do have a hand in like what gets fed into it, right?
Dude, music culture right now is fucking crazy
Yeah, it's-
cool right now.
it's
It is
wild.
so
Yeah.
cool because, like, I mean, like, listen, like we got music from all, I mean, every side of the. We got stuff from the 80s, 50s, like you know, popping off, like you know, like remixes of songs, you know, songs that came out last year that are now popping out this year, songs that came out 5 years ago, like, and it's all because like people returning back to that, and it's just so cool that like anything is like possible with that now. It's just so fun. It's so exciting.
But it's less predictable than ever before because, to your point, like you mentioned like a bunch of different pillars of like what it takes to get a record off the ground.
Yeah.
Now the record just needs to get lifted off the ground organically before anybody chooses to carry it all the way or even see it a quarter of the way.
Exactly.
Whereas before, and
I feel like
musicians
that's
will tell you,
the same thing with
you know,
videos.
Kylie
I mean,
Minogue's coming in later, which I'm really excited for. when back like when she was making music, or
That's how
really
I feel
up
like
until
I
a
can
few years
relate
ago.
to it. Just
There was like a strategy on how to break a record.
my videos.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you knew exactly who to talk to. Like, you knew who's like palms to grease, or like who to kind of like wine and dine and jerk.
Yeah.
Now, nah, fuck that. Like, it's like, yeah, it's up to the people.
Can't jerk anybody.
No. No. Well, for so many reasons. For so many reasons.
No more whining and dining.
This album, Angel Face,
Yeah.
is you, but you, like, you're watching yourself.
Yeah.
This is about a character. A caricature is the wrong way to describe it, but like,
Mm-hmm.
it's about you, but not about you. Can you explain it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it is essentially if Steven Sanchez's career was set in the years 1958 through 1964, and he was killed by the mob because he stole a mobster's girl.
What?
You know, like it
God.
is
How do we come to
entirely
this?
this. I mean, I feel it's exciting for me because, I like feeling like I'm on the outside of it, so I can be excited about it too. And so it's not like all about like,
Yeah.
I think actually like Cillian Murphy said it like best in a recent interview he did for like the Oppenheimer movie. He was like I hate talking about myself, but like I love talking about like the work, and I feel that way like with this because it's like, it is me. It's like a character, but it's like not me. Like I can separate the two and like talk about this thing as that, and so essentially like the troubadour Sanchez starts out as Steven Sanchez in the Mooncrest back in 1958 after Until I Found You explodes from their television performance on the Connie Co show in Los Angeles, and then from there, like, it's Steven Sanchez and the Mooncrest, and they're releasing singles, and it's hit after hit, and it's all about this voice of this young crooner back in the day. And then, they get signed to Mercury Records, into the 50s and then on to the 60s, and they're releasing more and more music. And then he becomes the troubadour Sanchez, after his career is spanning all these years, and people are falling in love with this music and this time. And he leaves Los Angeles, and is on the road and all this stuff. And upon returning to Los Angeles, he is doing a residency at the Angel Club that is owned by this gang called Hunter and the Mad Mob back in the 60s. And so they own the club, and Evangeline is the love interest, and that is Hunter's girl, the main guy in that gang.
Huh.
And Evangeline and I meet at this club because I'm staying at the hotel down the way. And
People talking about their lives in music is so cool, but to see someone different do this, like being in a different like year time perspective, that is very
meet
cool.
her at the bar in the club, and we end up
I feel
falling
like that's
in love.
really different. I don't know if
And,
anybody's ever really done that.
Evangeline's with him out of, just a longing for the real thing. And then
And
she
if they
finds the
have, I
real
haven't
thing with the
realized it.
troubadour. And so they're romancing in secret, and he's singing all these songs for her. And a lot of the record is just dialogue, and it's wanting her to be more. And it's, it's saying, there's songs like High that's like, I'm going to get you so high. And like saying that he's going to steal her from Hunter, and like, saying, it doesn't do me any good for you to say you want to love me, but then not, and so there's so much, dialogue happening in the form of songs. And eventually Hunter finds out, that I've stolen his girl, and the first residency show, the goons rush the stage, and I knock out all three of them, and then right before I land the final blow to, that no good Hunter, he whips out a revolver and sinks a bullet in my chest, and then that's it.
God.
And,
It's like a movie.
and that's the whole story. It's just this love and this loss and life and death, and and it's a lot of humanizing these characters that are, it's giving them personality. Like the troubadour is extremely, aware of what's happening, but he's choosing to be naive, and Evangeline is blinded by her love and fearful over her love. And there's just so much humanity to these characters that I feel like can be felt by fans, without being gunned down, but maybe that their love is stolen from somebody, or that, they would do anything for somebody. Maybe it's that they're just like,
Or choosing to be naive will make you dead.
Exactly, maybe, or it'll make you heartbroken. You know, if you don't want to go the extra mile being killed. So, but yeah, so it's a beautiful thing and it's so exciting for me because it's just like, oh, it's just a story, and I get to like build out these characters and act as this guy, you know, and when we do the live shows in the fall, it's like we're all dead. Like the Mooncrests on stage, you know, the boys in the band, they're the Mooncrests and I'm the troubadour, but we're all dead. Like we're all haunting these venues, you know, and we're still caught in this never-ending like tale of woe, sharing the story. And so we're playing the record front to back, you know, as ghosts, and it's really exciting for us. And so there's gonna be dialogue, you know, like when we're
So
introducing
cool.
like hi, like, ladies and gentlemen, this song we wrote back in the day. We want to dedicate it to that no good son of a bitch hunter who stole our girl from us. And then this song's called High.
Yeah.
And then we just go into it. And so there's like, it's going to be like a bit the whole time.
That's
for
so
fans,
cool.
just to get more ingrained in it.
So, what is the process like here? Does it start with the story, or does it start with the songs and then you attach the story to it?
Honestly, the story did not exist until Trent Dabbs and Nick Lobel and I wrote Evangeline, you know, with the Bobby Goldsboro, you know, sample, Honey, you know, and without that song, this album would not exist, I think, because it opened, one, the door that an album like this could exist from myself, and two, it also enabled me to just press on that vein of loving that music for so long, and then actually getting the opportunity to be able to create it. And then when we started writing songs, it was just like, okay, like, how do we make this more than just like a record? Because everybody's releasing a record this year. And what makes any of them different, you know, other than the fact that it's either a well-established artist who has a fan base and they're going to have fans who are going to listen to this record no matter what. But what about the new artists that are coming in and are trying to establish themselves? Like, what makes that different from so-and-so who's trying to, you know, make a name for themselves? And so when it came down to it, it was just like, okay, let's make like a story like that people can get behind and like feel like they can stand in the shoes of, so that it's far less about, you know, the artist Steven Sanchez, and it's far more about the record, you know, and Angel Face and, you know, Evangeline and the Troubadour and Hunter and all these different sides and the humanity of it. And so I think it just kind of unfolded, you know, as soon as these songs were being written, you know, it just slowly became this thing, because as we started writing it, it was just like, this is something I'm saying to Evangeline. And then the Troubadour came as we were writing the record, and then, you know, the Angel Club came as we were writing the record, and then me dying came after, you know, Ben Schneider and I from Lord Huron and I wrote Caught in a Blue and like No One Knows and Death of the Troubadour, you know, and started to make it more devastating, because he's obsessed with this idea of like not everything is so pretty, and he kind of like helped me in a huge way, because he was like, I've heard the record and it's so loving, but you know, there's nothing devastating about it, and that's not realistic. And I was just like, oh, you're so right. It's so like, I have to die. I should die in this record. That's so dramatic and devastating. And so, yeah, it all just kind of unfolded because of the people that I've gotten to work with, and this team and the support of this story. You know, I just wouldn't exist without everybody who's been involved, you know, outside of just myself. Yeah, it's really exciting. So,
Is this going to be how you do your albums moving forward, which is just a different character version of yourself in different situations?
I have no idea. This was like felt like the best happy accident ever, and I have no idea how it'll look when it comes to making the next thing. It's really exciting for me. I mean, I didn't think I'd love telling stories so much, you know, from characters, and I really do. So I think that I'm just gonna kind of ride that and chase that feeling for a while, because it feels good.
And you're writing as a character, but it is still somewhat attached to your reality and your truth.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the only song that is actually about somebody on the record is Something About Her. Like, that is the only song in reality that is about somebody.
Really?
Yeah, but we'll just leave it at that. 'Cause, yeah, but it's
Don't like too much.
it's so special, you know, and Actually, I'm glad there's just one, because I'm just like, like I got that one, but the rest is just characters, you know?
By the way, you can listen to all of Steven Sanchez's music. It's waiting for you on Amazon Music. What are you thinking, Daniel?
Well, Be More, that's out now, and that high note is crazy and it's long.
Why?
Thank you so much.
Is it easy to sing that? Does that come natural?
It was like 10:30 p.m. in the studio, and we didn't have that initially. And
Please tell me how to do this. I need to learn.
I remember that day. That was the first song we wrote for the new record, and it set the stage for the rest of this record and everything. And I remember I just worked my ass off on that song, and it's funny too. I was a month out of having vocal surgery.
Yeah, you had a polyp.
I had a polyp, and I had vocal surgery, and so I spent months not being able to sing, write, do anything, because I just couldn't sing and play, so I couldn't write. And then when we started to write the record, this was the first time that I was singing, like, at all. Like, and so, we got in, it was super intimidating for me for that to be, like, a ballad, like a really hearty ballad. And, man, it was just such a... I mean, it's so emotional for me because it's just like that song is so special, and that high note is so crazy because it was so late at night and I was exhausted, and I was just like, let me try this thing. And we maybe did that like 10 times over, and
In one day?
and it was
Because, like, I was trying it in my car, and I feel like I can only do that one time in one day, and I'm, like, out of breath for the whole day.
wasn't like that before. And then the last one, which is the one that is on the record, I did it and then I left. I didn't know if it was good or not. And then I came back in the next morning and he sat me down. He's like, dude, this is like, it's religious. Like, this is something spiritual, like this crazy note. And I just felt like so of the time too. I mean, people were doing like the Sherry, baby, and just like super high Frankie Valli stuff. And it was just fun to get to do that. So it's crazy.
Your vocals are crazy. They're
Thank
wild.
you.
Really superb. How do you realize you can sing?
Oh God. I mean, we're here. I don't know. I don't know that there was a point I was like, I can sing. I think it was like, when I think in moments like that, I'm reminded again, because there's definitely moments where I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if I can. I don't know, man. Can I sing? I don't know. And then we have moments like Be More, and I'm like, nah, I can sing. It's cool. We're good. And
I feel like that's what I just said earlier in my video, which you guys can go check out up here. It's about to Be More cover, and I said that about like the humbling experiences of like, oh, I'm gonna show these people these two different versions of the same song or the same thing. Yo, which one do you think sounds better? And everyone always picks mine, and it's like so humbling. And I'm like, okay, I am a singer. Like, it's not just simply this random like thought in my head of like, I have this big deep admiration and so inspiration, whatever the words to use, towards music. My whole life I've been, oh my god, music, oh my god, music. That's everything. And I've wanted to sing. I've wanted to be just like all these people you see on, online and stuff.
or I'll write something that I really believe in and be able to sing it, and someone like feels emotional from it, and I'm just like, cool, like it's great,
Do you channel something when you sing, or you just go in solely as yourself?
I think it's become more theatrical now, with the, the 60s, 50s flair to it. But I think like, if I've written a song about somebody, and it feels very fresh, like something about her is about somebody that that feels like the first love song I've ever written. It just feels like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, it's like so special to me. And the person I wrote for is so special to me. And, I think it's like, it's just different now. I think it's just, when writing something that feels like that, I think I go somewhere with that, and I think with the other songs on the record, it's kind of, I'm channeling that, charismatic, like, troubadour vibe, that, and what I would think that, how I think he would perform them, and how he'd perform those songs, and, so definitely, I think so, definitely. There's a lot more movement, a lot more hip gyrating, and
Shake.
Shake. Yeah.
You got a Johnny B. Good moment, didn't you?
Hey, there you go. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shake, man. Shake. God, what
How
a
fun is that?
what an on the nose song. We were all kind of racking our brains like, should we put this on there? Because it's pretty like on the nose. But I was like, yes, like it's perfect. Like nobody's doing that right now.
No.
Who's doing that right now? Nobody. We got to do that. You know, it's fun. And if it feels good, I mean, if it feels good, then it's great.
Song definitely feels good.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you? Oh, go ahead.
You go.
Do you use any of the techniques that they used back in like the 50s or 60s to make these? Because it doesn't sound like it was made today.
Oh, thanks, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I mean,
So this album is gonna
we
be
try
like
to do things in like full
I'm excited.
full takes, you know, as they would do, and like we try to record everything pretty together, like pianos and guitars and drums and
Hearing everything about, you know, what he's about to do with the album in the future or what he, you know, is looking towards, I'm excited.
guitars and like make it feel very organic and live. But even I think the biggest thing was, you know, when we were recording like any sort of background vocals, we were all rapping around a mic together, you know, for Be More when it's like Be More, Be More, you know, with the little glockenspiel, you know, thing. It's all of that was happening at the same time, and you know, so it felt like there was a relationship there, and so it feels like everything has a relationship and nothing is separate from each other. So definitely did some of the old ways of doing it, I think, or just how we thought they would now. You know, I mean, if somebody popped out of a time machine and was like, all right, let's make music now, and I know how to use all this stuff, how would I do it? And it's like, oh, like this, you know, I think. So maybe it's like this. Maybe it would be this way. Who knows?
It's
Can
really
you guys hear my
special.
belly gargling in this? Can you guys hear that?
No, you'll be okay.
You can't? I think I'm so hungry.
By the way, go listen to Steven Sanchez's music. It's all waiting for you. Angel Face isn't coming though until September.
Yeah. What a bummer.
Are you gonna be releasing more songs?
No,
until then,
dude.
yeah?
What the
I think so. I think we got. Oh, we got one more. I think we got one more.
Two
We're getting
Two
two
more?
more. Sign.
One more, two more. Why not? I mean, this is such a fun record. I mean, 13 songs. Lucky number 13. I mean,
That-
yeah. I mean, we just want to. I think the biggest goal is to invite people into this story, into this space. You know, like we want to give something to the world that, you know, artists really aren't right now. You know, not that I have some like higher thing and I've got some
Power
better
and-
record than everybody else, but there is something to be said that there isn't something happening like this right now.
Totally.
And it feels very special, and so inviting people into that with as many songs as possible feels exciting, and it feels special, and I think we want to keep doing that, you know, until that song comes out, and like, or until this full thing comes out, so that people feel like they are a part of this story, and feel like when they do sit down and listen to the whole thing, that if they do just want to jump around, they can, and it feels like they still understand, you know, this world, and you know, there's a freedom to do that. But then also, if people want to listen top to bottom, they can do that too. And it's like there's gonna be no one's gonna miss it, you know. And so it's gonna be really exciting to see that. So,
I'm excited to see the show.
Mm-hmm.
thanks, man. That's gonna be cool. It's gonna be really special. It's gonna feel like you're stepping out of a time machine. And the boys and I might just ask fans to like dress up like they're from that period,
Sick.
just to make it
Oh,
People
that
love that.
all the more. 'Cause why
that'll
not?
be
You know, I
awesome.
mean, it's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really sick.
Thank you.
By the way, your tattoos are amazing.
Thanks, man.
The hearts on your fingers are pretty cool. It's awesome.
Little hearts.
When
Here
did
and
you
there.
get them?
I got them right when I turned 18, like right away. Like I got this like hand. I don't know if you can see this.
Oh, that's cool too.
It's like a little hand, and I got that first, and then the next week I went and like got my whole arm done, and my dad was just like freaking out because it was
Oh
like
my.
it went from one tattoo to like my fingers now and my hand, and like I mean I got tattoos on my body, and I got a heart on my chest and like a panther and like all sorts of.
Yeah, you have a panther on your groin.
A groin. Oh no, it's a lady. It's a little cowboy lady.
Oh, you have
But it's like on my side. It's not really like in my. It's like on the side.
Wait, no, you have a panther on your torso.
Torso. There you go. That's the word.
Lady on your grind, panther on your torso.
Oh, like on the side, like my like lower stomach. I feel like less groin, because groin is like in there. It's in in it.
Yeah.
You know, right? I mean,
yeah.
you don't say like I got kicked in the groin and then point to your side. You're like,
I don't
no,
know.
I got kicked in
The dong.
the dong.
I don't know anatomy. Why'd you
You
get a panther on your torso?
You don't know anatomy?
No.
You don't
Could
know
you
it?
name? Could you name a muscle?
Shit.
Could you name a muscle or like two?
I'm thinking about it right now.
What are these called?
Traps.
Amazing. See,
I
there
got-
you go.
I got
Everyone
one.
give. He's done it.
All right,
He's
Zach.
done it. This is it. He had one job and he accomplished. It was
so
great.
much.
I would assume you knew the groin.
Yeah. I don't. Is that a muscle?
I think it's just an area, right? You
Yeah.
can pull a groin. I don't know.
I don't know. This is crazy that we are. This is awesome.
But you have a panther on your torso. What does that
Torso.
mean?
Are
Are you the panther?
Am I the panther? I'm just a fellow with tattoos, man. It's just I just like it. I don't know. There's not like a there's nothing like deep rooted in it. Like I feel confident with tattoos. It makes me feel very confident. Like if like honestly, just I'm not like a super like jacked guy, and so
Tattoos make up for it?
I guess so in a way. I mean, not really either. I just like the art. It just makes me feel confident. Like it kind of makes up for like the area of like, that being super muscular might make you feel more confident. Like tattoos kind of can take a place of that. Like you can feel confident from that. Like it's a thing on your body that makes you feel confident about your appearance, and so I feel confident with them. I think that's it.
Well, they're beautiful works of art.
Mhm.
Thanks, man. You're a beautiful work of art.
Well, we have no time for lies anymore. So much for lying. Steven Sanchez, his music is waiting for you. Link in the description below. Old people love you. The geriatric crowd's a big deal.
Yeah.
Somebody writes, I'm 76 years old and I love his music. It takes me back to when songs were stories and not a lot of noise.
Wow.
His music and lyrics are so beautiful and soulful. My favorite being Evangeline. I like them all, but that one is my favorite. That is from Patricia Lloyd Dillon. Sounds like a 76-year-old name.
Yeah, it sounds like it's been around for a while. Yeah. Wow.
Why do you think old people like you?
Because it's from that time frame.
Oh my gosh. I got like pinchable cheeks or something. I don't know. Maybe it's
You bring them back to yesteryear?
maybe the yesteryears of their days. I don't know. I don't know why anybody likes me. I feel like I'm nice. I'd be nice to them if I met them.
That's really
I feel like that's how I would stutter on a question, like that. Would someone would ask me, like, why would I sit here and be like, yeah, I'm this person and that person, no big deal. I mean,
nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. I mean, I don't know. I can't really explain why.
It's more like, here's what I do, and like, what
dress
do you
nice,
think
smell
about
good.
me?
I got a nice face. Maybe it's a face that feels welcoming to a 76-year-old.
Your energy just takes them back to the sock hops. or,
Maybe the sock hops. Wow, the sock hops. Yeah,
takes them back to the diner or
the
something.
diner, the days. Maybe even not the diner. Maybe just like chilling in their room, putting a record on, like smoking a little or something like that. Who knows? Like everyone's got such a crazy story with all that. It's cool. I don't know.
Is it weird to wrap your mind around? Like, is that like hard, like almost uncomfortable for you to think about how many people have actually heard your music?
I think it's so cool. Like I just remember when no one was listening, and it was such a weird hustle. It was just kind of like I used to set up shop like in my high school cafeteria, like playing songs, borderline harassing people to listen to what I wrote that week, and would do that the entire 30-minute lunch period. So
I'm sure people loved you.
everyone was at the mercy of like the bell to save them from that. But honestly, it's cool because it's just like people who grew up listening to that music, I feel like, are able to connect with this because of a sense of nostalgia. People who are my age who just love that music are able to just connect because they love that music. And then people who have never heard that music,
It's a fresh way to tell a
it's like
story.
fresh to them, which is
Sick.
it's like so sick. It's so sick. And so it's just like, I don't know. I think, yeah, it's cool. It's nice having old people like my music, and not even old, like nicely like aged like fine wine. Like they're like
Yeah,
those fine wine folks.
Yeah.
That's how you like to call them.
You call them wise.
They call them wise?
Yeah, the nice way to call like what's the nicest way to call somebody old?
I mean, I
Old.
call it fine wine folks.
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice. It's good. It has a nice ring to it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
way better than wise.
Yeah.
Listen to Steven Sanchez's music. It's waiting for you. All on Amazon Music. Final thoughts, Dan?
Go see him on tour. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be so great.
Some of the dates are selling out.
Some of them are selling out. Maybe none of them will sell out.
Well, no, some of them
Maybe we'll
already
just
You're
some
we'll
of them
play
already
no one.
have.
Maybe we'll roll up. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to go back and just remember what it was like to have no one listen.
Nah, you'll be just fine.
I'm just kidding.
The nursing homes are going to empty out for the evening. It's going to be pretty wild.
That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, because they're gonna all die when they hear it.
Jesus.
But they'll wheel them out.
They're all gonna have a heart attack. That's not funny. That's horrible. That's actually horrible.
There's a link in the description below if you want to buy some tickets.
Yeah, please buy a ticket. We would love to see you. Yeah, it's great.
You're a real one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're a real one. I like your shirt. I never got to tell you earlier. He smells really good also. I don't know if y'all ever have been told that, but he walked up earlier and introduced himself and just this of just like
Wow.
nice smell. It was great.
That was.
What is that? What's your smell? What's your
I don't,
fragrance?
I don't know if I want to share it with the world. No, I'm kidding. It's Macho from Le Labo.
It's so good. Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
good. Le Labo.
Yeah. Yeah, they got some. Yeah.
I rock a DS and Durga
What,
every now and again.
do you know what that
What the
is?
hell is that?
DS and Durgus or DS and Durgus, or something like
Give
that.
it a Google.
It's
DS
great.
and
They're
Durgus?
so or I don't know if it's DS and Durgus or DS and Durga. It's I don't know what. It's great.
I'll give you a good smell when we take a photo after this.
Oh wow, it sounds like you're gonna fart or something. I'll give you a good smell out of this. It's like, do you smell that? I had enchiladas for lunch, man. I'm like, yep, smell that. So good. And he would do it. And he would do it. No, I'm just kidding. He wouldn't. I'm lying. Is
Imagine-
that true though? Are you gonna? No. I'm
I just
kidding.
want to smell your cologne.
What the
but
hell
I-
is DC and Durgus? I can't even spell
DS
that
and
word.
Durga.
Oh, DS and Durga.
Are you looking it up?
I can't.
Is it there?
Probably. I just don't know how to spell in Durga.
Durga. D-U-R-G-A.
D-U-R-G-A.
D.S.
Oh, it's a store.
It's a store,
Oh, okay.
and they have fragrances,
Sick.
just like Le Labo.
I just wear women's deodorant, so
Oh,
I'll
nice.
deal with this later.
I will. Is it like the sport
No,
blue?
it's like has a very mellow smell. I don't like smells
Do you
very
want
much.
to? Do you want to share it with
Can we
everybody?
share?
Just put an Amazon link in the
Yeah,
description.
Can you show us like how you do it?
I just I put the shirt on first,
Yeah.
and then I lift it out because if not, I always like whack myself.
Oh.
So then I just do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and we're done. Just like 1 or 2 swipes. I don't do much.
And it's bang, right?
Ban. There's no G on it. It's
Ban.
ban. It's the green tube. I think I get shower fresh. I have to get it on Amazon. They don't sell it at Target anymore.
That's incredible.
Don't tell my mom, but I have her Amazon account. I use her password and code.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
This is some good stuff.
Wow. Thank you. I love this.
Anyway, I think you're a superstar. So
Man,
thanks for giving us your time and energy.
I think you're a super smell. Smell of goodness.
really nice. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Seriously, listen to his music. It's waiting for you on Amazon Music. Link below. Steven Sanchez, everybody.
Cheers, y'all. We did it.
Wow. Not really much of an outro to say. I just, can't wait for the album, and yeah, can't wait to hear more.
That's all I got.